Pallav, and Nick thought people would see what are you looking for and immediately be drawn to it and be delighted with it. Your test demonstrates really, really well, like I thought it would, that this doesn't happen. Do you remember some of the reasons I gave when we were talking about this question initially? Why did I think it wasn't going to happen?
I can't remember what you said, actually. Now I think about it.
All right. Couple of things. Number one, not salient. It doesn't stand out compared to the rest of the page. Number two, people arrive on the page with different needs and expectations. Number three, there are a lot of places on that page where you can start shopping. There's competition. And you can use that word, that there is competition for attention for where people will start. Okay, all of these things played into what are you looking for, simply not being something that caught people's attention or met an immediate need. Look, position, competition, habit, experience with previous websites, all of these things played into them ignoring the brand new shiny toy that they put on the page that nobody wanted to play with. That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're going to say that, why did nobody play with our beautiful shiny new toy? It's sad. You're going to get puppy dog eyes and everything. And you have to be blunt with them. You're going to have to roll up your newspaper and say, bad UI, no biscuit. And it's not a bad, okay, now talk to me, remind me of the reasons you thought it didn't work after watching 16 people try to find it, or, would try to use the page for the first time. What were some of the things you told me about it? What happened?
There isn't much about it that really draws someone's attention to it. And it's just not, it's below a lot of other potential sections. It's like, it's too low on the page for them to be initially drawn to. When you come to a page, you're going to be looking at what's like first shown to you, and it's not being first shown to you. It's showing below what's first shown to you.
Okay. And what was another reason? What was another problem you found with it?
There was
the label,
saliency, positioning, label. Oh, the two. Are you talking about the search bar versus the?
Yeah. Okay, that's part. Yeah. Yes, because that was part of it. You said that label. What are you looking for? People thought it could be similar to a search bar, but simply the label. What are you looking for? Not everybody needs to start with a search, and it implies that it's a search.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, like the filters that are with it. I think that's a little bit intensive for people to really like first be like what they're first doing on a page. They're not initially like, they're not immediately going and like, oh, okay, I want these specs. They're trying to peruse options first, like overall general options in general.
Right. So they may be more interested in seeing what else is on the page or starting at a point that's not so spec oriented.
Especially with the novice gamers. I mean, that was exactly what was shown. They went to the game. They went to the gaming deals section.
All of this needs to be on this slide. This is all about, because you're talking, again, shiny new toy. Why isn't it working? Think about everything you just said, and those are all really legitimate reasons based upon behavior that you saw, that these are not going to, that it's not going to, now, it's not necessarily going to be the first place they go in this look of the UI. What is your recommendation?
Simplify, like take out other section, like take out competition, like possible competition. If you're really trying to gauge, I mean, get someone to go to a section and make it the only section that, first of all, make it salient. top of the
Ah,
page.
oh, wait,
Salient, top of the
wait.
page,
So is
and-
it, so is the first thing is, do you want, here, think about your recommendations. Your recommendation can be about a change that they can make to the UI, but your recommendation can also be about decisions they should make.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can tell them, if you want it to be the main thing they do on the page, here's how to make it pop. However, what you really want to recommend to them is make a decision about how salient you want this section to be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to keep in mind that this 16 people started all over the place. About half of them started on the banner, which is where people typically start.
Mm-hmm.
Rest of them roamed around. This is normal behavior. So up to, you have to decide relative to the banner, how salient do they want it to be? And then you can say, if you want it to be more salient, here are ways to do that.
Okay. That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It really does. That's not something I would have thought of.
All right. Let's move on to some other slides.
Would you say like results, like get pretty detailed about the results and then do an interpretation recommendations page or slide after that?
Yeah, you can have a second, slide if you want, but my basic strategy is dump all the info I want to tell them onto a single slide, clean it up, organize it, and then figure out if it's going to work on one slide, or do I need to move it over? Do I need to split it?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, dropping this.
Okay. Okay, so again, move down from that 10,000 foot view of what information do gamers understand.
Mm-hmm. What was it? If the content is useful.
Something, I am tough decisions, filters. Again, to simplify this, you had a set of tasks that were about the what are you looking for section, tasks that were about the frame section, and then tasks that were about the compare section.
Mm-hmm.
Organize your slides around that. You don't need, I don't know that you need to summarize the tasks. Okay, I see what you're doing here. Page sections, what are you looking for? Okay. Okay, I would take that title, what information do gamers understand, and just change it to using the three main sections.
Do you have a preference for numbers versus words?
No.
Okay.
And then where you say tasks, I just want a little more detail there.
I guess I could just do like, this is page sections, and then it lists the page sections, and then it goes into tasks.
What's confusing about this is that you've got this one thing of page sections, and this number 2 is filters, and that's not really what it is. What you really want is gaming homepage. It really should just be, what are you looking for? And then if you want to talk about the tasks that you had them do with what are you looking for, that's what can be here. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
All right, so change the title. or the header on the slide. Instead of using the 3 main sections, just make the first one, what are you looking for? Or using, what are you looking for? And I'm talking about the title of the slide.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, so if this slide is about what you asked them to do, you put that information in here. Okay, you've got that all, you had it already.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just, you know, edited what you had. I'm sorry, I am so micromanaging.
All right.
Okay, so take out 1, 2, take out novice and avid, take out that first bullet. Oh, where's your title? Okay. So you want to put the word tasks in front of that. So your header for this section is tasks for what are you looking for, right? Explain what the section is about, doesn't have a question mark. Okay, here's the point. If I asked you, what did you actually ask the participants to do?
Scroll down to the page, look it over, tell me what you think, or tell us what you think the section is about and what do you think it works, and then have them explore a little bit more in depth by interacting with the different information and interaction widgets.
All right. Okay, so you are almost there. So task for what are you looking for? Explain what the section is about. How do you think this section works? So you can get rid of that and yep, get rid of that. Do you want to fix your?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
Thank you. All right, so do you need that space in there between the how do you and the right? Yeah, you can get rid of that. All right. And you know what? You know, okay, again, be consistent. You're missing quote marks on your last bullet. That's the start. And at the end, sorry. Okay. So now you have a very simple slide that explains what the tasks were. Okay, what do you got next?
Well, what will be next is I'm just gonna either insights or findings, or I mean results. Same kind of structure as to this, like what did we learn with a graph, which reminds me, between the table and the graph, do you think it's all right to keep both of them? I put them both on there to see if it would be okay with both or if we should just go with one.
You know what? You can do just one. It's the same data.
Okay.
I think the graph is better.
Yeah.
Okay, and by the way, I am a fan of using data labels rather than on the bars and then getting rid of the grid lines and that y-axis. But it always depends upon what you have room for.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be basically the same as this. Is what did we learn? What were the main things? Like, what were the most understood? What were the most confused sections? And then I was going to back it up with specific quotes as to their, like the specs, basically the filters and specs, the interaction widgets. Yeah, like have reports on if any sections were very, very confusing to them, and if so, why? Like, what about the information within that section was confusing to them? That would be a quote.
All right.
And this would be split up by section. Well, actually not anymore, since we're separating them out.
Yeah.
So there will be two more of these two slides.
Right. So they'll get split up.
Mm.
All right. Let me just ask you this. Given what we've been talking about, do you feel like you have enough to go on in terms of the changes you want to make for this next round of revisions?
I do.
All right. So let's stop talking here unless there's something specific you want to ask me about. And you know something, you're so smart and you know so much and you are so fun to work with. Let's take another stab at this. Let's do one more round of revisions let me take another look at it at that point.
Okay.
And if you want to, at any point where you want me to just look at a slide and see if you're going in the right direction, instead of the entire deck, that is totally fine. Just ping me and share it with me, and I will let you know if I think you're on the right track.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really does.
Okay. I keep forgetting you haven't been working for me for 6 months.
Well,
which is a compliment.
I kind of caught you talking about a point that didn't really hit me until now, where although I do have like a wide range of research experience, within the experience that I have, nothing has been close to this in terms of like, not simplicity per se, but just like overall time span, and then like just basically basic UI research. It's like academia research was always just like so grounded in like very complex theory, and like you had to understand that theory so much, and then you had to put that into like very advanced analytical research questions that had multiple levels.
Right, and you had to have this vast background of information informing all of that.
Yep, and so yeah, it's definitely been quite the adjustment, but I mean, I think you can probably even see it. Like, I'm going to top level. Like, I've always wanted to have this chance to be very basic, but I don't know. I'm trying to still figure out the like little inner workings of how to do it properly and effectively.
It'll get better. The thing to keep in mind is that this is where empathy for the stakeholder and what their job is and what they are trying to accomplish becomes your mindset. Because all that background that you have, all of that stuff that you know, helps you explain behavior, which you want to do. But it's very, very much storytelling at this basic level of, here's this thing we thought people would do X with. They didn't. Why not? What does this mean about what we should do next? And you're the coach, you're the guide on this. You're saying, well, look, here's what we saw people doing. They ignored all of this, or they paid attention to this. They ignored it because, and that's where all of your theory and experience kicks in. Because that's what drives the change, right? If we want them to behave differently, this is the stimulus we have to give them in order for them to change the way they behave. So
that's a very, very good analogy.
You got to be basic with what you were seeing, and then you can pull the theory in to explain why it happened and how to improve it.
Mhm.
But you got to make sure you understand what the stakeholder wants to see happen,
Yeah.
and either validate that and say, yeah, that's a really good direction. Let's see how we can get there. You can say, you know what? We know people come to the page with different intentions and
Yeah.
habits. And so you have to make that decision of how salient you want this to be relative to everything else you're putting on the page.
Right.
Because, there's a reasonable chance that what are you looking for section, terrible label, we should fix that, but that it's actually at the right level of salience, because it really depends upon whether people can move point to point to point to point on that page. And if they can hit that point of, tell us what you want in your computer, and we'll show you which ones fit.
Mm.
It's really interesting.
There's just too many options.
There's a
There's too
lot
many.
on every
Yeah,
single.
I know we
Yeah.
have to cater to the different preferences and experiences and where they're going to be going, but
Well,
like
you're talking
the
about,
way, huh?
no, you're right, but it's not the customer's preferences and experiences. The problem with the page is it's catering to too many cooks in the kitchen's preferences and ideas. It's not the
So,
customer's problem. It's the North America merchandising. It's the
yeah.
content team. It's our team. It's the executives.
Would you say each little section has like its own respective amount of interest in different, I don't know, like it would be probably impossible to just do away with a section, is what you're saying, like one of those sections.
Have you ever done a participatory design study?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. So basically, you take all the chunks of UI that you might have, and if you're really smart, you have variations on those chunks, and you give them to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You say, build your page.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, and as they put that chunk on the page, you say, what problem did you solve by choosing this, and where you put it? And you get to see what has value to that person given whatever context you've given them for their task. And what's really fun is to do participatory design studies with stakeholders and hear them argue about why something should be on a page.
I don't have very many regrets for my career, but that is the few times that I did end up feeling somewhat regretful of choosing psychology, was just hearing I don't know, people have so many opinions and they think they're all warranted. And so, I mean, they are, but they're not at the same time. And so, yeah, to have to take into consideration all of those as to what someone wants out of a page like this is, I mean, it's obvious that it's going to result in something like this. And I don't know, it's our job to consolidate it.
Oh, our job is to make sure we are doing the best test possible for demonstrating what the problems are.
Right.
And then make sure we're lucid and articulate about what the problems are, why they're happening. And then literally, it's very much like being a therapist, working with the stakeholders to help them figure out what's important and what they should be actually making decisions about, keeping versus dropping versus redesigning.
Yeah.
It's getting them to helping them be articulate.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
Take another stab. You're getting closer on each. This is definitely better than what you had before. When you think you've got like a little set of these slides, like for one section, with your data and with your tasks, your data, your interpretation and recommendations. Okay, so think about those 4 sections for each of these: the tasks, the data, interpretation of the data, what you want them to think about or possibly do.
Yeah.
Okay, so those 4 sections, and however you spread them across slides, see what you need to do. But when you think you've gotten close to having one of those done, ping me and share your deck, and I'll take a look and give you any feedback. Okay.
Okay, that should probably be earlier afternoon tomorrow then, I think, given the time. If I don't work tonight.
You know what? I need you to work faster.
I know.
I can't give you another 24 hours for you to give me a little chunk to look
Yeah,
at.
it wouldn't be 24 hours. It'll be in the morning tomorrow.
Okay, that
If
would be
not
great.
tonight. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Seriously.
You know,
Thank you for your patience. I mean, the patience, level of patience and advice, and yeah,
it's good.
next to none. Seriously.
You're doing fine. You're doing totally fine. All right. I'm looking forward to seeing what you got. And again, give it to me when it's still a draft so that
Yeah.
so we can just nibble away at it. Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Have fun.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Garrett. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.